Welcome back to our next masterclass of Dirk Adler. Today I would like to talk about our pocket welding technology 755S Speed Pocket. I will do it in the same way like before. First I will have a theoretical presentation, and after finishing the theoretical presentation I will demonstrate some special features at the machine. Okay, so let's go to my presentation. As an information in advance, the presentation structure is made according to the current price list. So that means if you have the price list next to you, you can see and compare and see what features, what optional equipment is for which application. So 755S. We are talking here about a sewing unit for run stitching rectangular pipe pockets. First of all, what is a pipe pocket? A pipe pocket is, for example, this one. So we could have a double pipe pocket, that means we have two lips on a trouser, or on a trouser a single lip. I could have a pipe pocket, double lip or single lip with a flap. I could also have a pipe pocket with a zipper attached. I could have a pipe pocket with a button triangle here. And last but not least, what would be also possible here on this machine would be, for example, in jackets, the outer pockets. So this kind of pocket with flap, without flap, single weld, double weld would be also possible. Now let me first explain you what the figures, the digits means on 755. The 75 stands at the moment for pocket welding technology. And the second 5, which you see here, the red marked 5, stands for run stitching rectangular pockets. That means we talk about a 90-degree angled pocket. So the S stands for speed pocket, which stands for manual loading device. That means loading of piping strips, additional parts, so the loading, manual loading method. So, and the speed pocket in general has a manual corner knife station. I will explain later what does this mean. We are offering this sewing unit mainly for productions like trousers in, I would say, at least 80% of the cases, where customers has more or less one length of pockets. So they do not change the length of the pocket every 100, 500 pieces. They have more or less always the same length of pockets. For this kind of production, the speed pocket is super made for. It could be also used for others, but this would be the highest recommendation for this machine class. The machine is standard-wise equipped with an operation touch panel with our duck comfort control and some other special features. This I will explain now step by step in the presentation on the next pages. For 755S, we are offering a product video which you will find in YouTube or also on our homepage. I will just quickly show you this. You can take the time whenever you have. So this machine or this video shows all the applications, all the requirements which need to be fulfilled to offer this machine class. I will not show you now the whole video because I cut it in small pieces of or small snippets of the video because according to the application I will show you these videos. Coming to the application on the 755. 755 we learned, 755 stands for straight pocket openings with standard pocket lengths. So the application here is recommended for trousers production, for jeans, for sportswear, could be also used for jackets, but only in case the length does not change so often. So a rectangular pocket opening or a straight pocket opening means we talk about a 90-degree angle here on the pocket opening. So that means if this is a single or double weld, we talk about here a 90-degree angled pocket. With flap, the same thing, 90-degree angled. Machine is equipped with a manual adjustable corner knife station. I will explain this later. You can receive on the machine single or double pipe pockets, that means single lip or double lip pockets with or without flaps. Important here to say is we are offering needle distances in our price list from 8 to 30 millimeter, but as special manufacturing we can also offer starting from 4.8 millimeter and 6 millimeter, so a very small and narrow needle distance. The small and narrow needle distances, we have to say that this is only for very thin materials, something like silk, linen or something like this, or lining. These are the materials which we can stitch with 4.8 and 6 millimeter. The machine is equipped with an OP7000 touch panel, which you can see here, and the machine is freely programmable in pocket parameters. We have 200 pockets on the machine available in 40 sequences, and in every single sequence up to 8 seam programs per sequence. The machine or the parameters are translated in 17 different languages. That means in German, English of course, but also translated in Chinese, in Bangla, in Russian language, in Bulgarian, so we have Romanian language. So all these languages has been translated to make it easier to run and operate the machine. In combination with the OP7000, we have equipped the machine with a duck comfort control. DAC means Dokop Adler control, that means it's our own control, and comfort is one of the types of controls we are offering. The advantage here is the machine is equipped with a so-called machine ID, so that means we are saving the machine parameters to this machine ID, and in case you need to switch, you need to change the control box, the parameters remain on this ID. Now coming to the sewing head of the machine. The sewing head is a re-engineered head with double needle based on the M-type casting. So that means we do have here the head of the M-type, the casting of the M-type, but the interior is still the same like on the former machines. So that means on the 745, because we said never change a running horse. That was very well running. We had very good sewing results, so we kept this idea. So we have by using the M-type head, we have an improved sewing speed. In case we talk about a straight pocket opening, that means the 755S, we can have a maximum speed of 3,200 RPM if required. The maximum speed will be only adjusted for, let's say, lower quality level and fast productions where we want to increase the productivity, decrease the cycle time. So by using the M-type head, we could also increase the maximum stitch length, now up to 4.5 millimeter. In case of jeans, workwear, something like this, it could be interesting to have longer stitch lengths. Available needle distances, as I mentioned, 4.8 minimum, maximum needle distance 30 millimeter. The next point in the price list which you will see is you have to select the beside the machine class, you have to select the corner knife station. So the structure of the price list is as following. If you choose the machine class, afterwards you have to choose the corner knife station. It is not standard because some of our customers, they do not require the corner knife station, and that's why we said, okay, we make it as an option to be more flexible here. The next position in the price list, you will find the sewing equipments. We have pre-assembled equipments for you as an example. We call it E for equipment, 7.5, and the second 5, I will explain this later on. So these equipments are for trousers, for jacket applications, depends on whatever you need. Beside the sewing equipment which is available in the price list, you could create your own equipment. For example, in the price list there is not the equipment you would need. You could create your own equipment by choosing K for clamps, N for needle distance, and F for folders. I will explain this later again. So that means these 3 components are a sewing equipment. After choosing the sewing equipment, you can go for optional equipments, for stacking systems, and for table extensions. So let's go step by step through what does this mean. The first thing in the price list is the corner knife station. So the corner knife station is for straight pocket opening because it is a mechanical adjustable corner knife station for a master pocket length and angle incision. What does this mean? This is the corner knife station mounted below the table of the machine, and both corner knives for the seam beginning or pocket beginning and pocket end corner cutting, they are mounted fixed on this rail. If I fix this length now to, let's say, 150 millimeter pocket length, and I program on my touch panel a length of 150, both knives will cut together in the same time. This is what we said, if you have always the same pocket length, you have a super cycle time, the machine is a perfect solution. If you change very often, after 100, 500 pieces the length, from 150 to 52 to 55, whatever, then we can still run stitch and cut with the corner knife station. The difference for the corner knife activity would be, let's say, 155 millimeter, that the first corner knife will cut. The transport of the material will move to the second position, and then we cut with the second time. So we have a little longer cutting process for the corner knives. This is in general not a problem if you have small productions, but for a big production, let's say you're doing 10,000 trousers or I don't know how many, this would take too much cycle time, and in this case it's recommended to go for standard size pocket. If not, we have to go anyway for another class, but this class would be for standard pocket sizes. Okay, so the angle adjustment for this corner knife is also mechanically adjustable. So you have one screw here and then you decide to go for the angle of the corner cut. The corner knife station is an option, and please select it in case you would like to have it. So the next position in the price list is the sewing equipment. So we are offering for the speed pocket in total 8 prepared sewing equipments for you. And this means we have E, that means equipment, 755-10J-180A-01. What does this mean? We have created here a so-called key code for the sewing equipment. So E stands for equipment, sewing equipment. Then we do have 7, 5, and the second 5 stands for straight pocket openings. The next position, the next digit, stands for the needle distance. 10 means 10 millimeter needle distance in this case. And behind the 10, there would be another position of J for jacket, T for trousers. The next position in the key code, 180, means the maximum sewing length with flap. And A stands for the method S and A, that means speed pocket and the next higher technology level, the A. That means this is the manual loading system. At the end, the two last digits is the version number. So in case we change something on the equipment, we are just increasing or using this version number to change. The rest will stay the same. So what does this mean? Here we have E755, that means equipment 755 for straight pocket openings, 12 millimeter needle distance for trousers, 180 millimeter pocket length with flaps, and A is manual loading system. I will just check here one. Sewing equipment 755 for straight pocket openings, 10 millimeter needle distance for jacket, 220 millimeter pocket length with flaps, and A for manual loading method. What does this mean, this 180 millimeter or 220 millimeter maximum sewing length in this sewing equipment? That means this has something to do with these transport clamps. So the transport clamp, we have two different transport clamps. I will show this later. And the first transport clamp with K35LR 180 means 180 millimeter maximum sewing length with flap. That means from here to here we can have a maximum length of 180 millimeters. The machine can still recognize with a length of 180 millimeter the flap length. Without flap, the machine could stitch pocket lengths up to 200 millimeter. If I would have the longer transport clamp, that means the K35LR 220, with 220 millimeter length with flaps, would mean I do have maximum pocket length for flaps with 220, and without flaps I could stitch 240 millimeter. The next position in the price list under optional equipment would be flap clamps. Flap clamps are these parts here. We have one left and one right clamp. So these flap clamps we are offering in total 4, depending on the sewing equipment you have chosen. So if you choose a sewing equipment of 180 millimeter length, we are offering the flap clamp PK35, R for right side, 180 millimeter for 180 millimeter sewing length, and S for speed pocket. So this is the clamp right for additional parts like flaps, like pocket bags, like buttonhole triangles or something like this. And the same thing we have for the left side. That means flap clamp 35, left side 180, speed pocket, clamp left for additional parts. So that means we are offering 2 for the right side, one in 180 lengths and one in 220 millimeter lengths. And the same thing for the left side, 180 left, 180 millimeter and 220 millimeter also for the left side. When do I need to choose the flap clamp right or left? This is depending on the application. So here we do see an application, flap clamps for jacket applications. So if I'm sitting in front of my machine, I am loading for jackets the flaps in general on the left side, and from the right side I am loading my pocket bag already to stitch both simultaneously. So that means to hold both sides I need to have a flap clamp on the left side and on the right side. If I would do jacket inside pockets, I would not have a flap, but I would have two pocket bags maybe. So I would load one pocket bag from the left side and one pocket bag from the right side. So this would be for jacket application. So in general we can say jacket application we always need left and right side the flap clamps. Coming now to trousers application. For trousers I'm sitting in front of the machine, and what we need is maybe I need a flap clamp on the right side, because for trousers I'm loading the flap on the right side and a flap clamp on the right side is required. On left side I don't need a flap clamp, because in general we are loading only, in case you have flaps, only the flaps, because the pocket bags are positioned underneath the garment. You see here an excellent example. We have a flap clamp on the right side, but no flap clamp on the left side. So now coming to the next optional equipment. We do have a device for raising up piping strips before sewing. What does this mean? I will show you something here. So normally if you have a trouser production and you would take normal sized piping strips, and you would afterwards position your buttonhole, your eyelet buttonhole on your pocket, that would mean, I will turn this now, with a normal sized piping strip, you would have the buttonhole placed half on the facing and half on the pocket bag. If we see the quality now from the right side, the lower part is always unstable. So that means by using this buttonhole several times, it could happen that this buttonhole get damaged very quickly. To avoid this, people have changed now to a large facing. So instead of a small facing, they have a longer facing here, 40, 50, up to 60 millimeter. So they place the buttonhole on this facing to make sure that the whole buttonhole is safely stitched on the facing. If I use this buttonhole now, I can use it many times. It will not get damaged because there is additional layer of material which secures my buttonhole. So that means we have small facings and we have large facings. So let's say we have a large facing, and to make sure that the large part of the facing does not collapse while stitching, we have a special device here on the machine. In the praxis, in the productions, you will find very often they use a large facing, they fold it, iron it, they stitch the pocket, and afterwards they open it and attach it to the pocket bag. So that would mean they have one more additional operation. We don't need this because of this device. What we use is, we are loading normally the back pocket on the machine, not the back pocket, the back trouser. We are calling the transport clamp, and we are loading now the large piping strip onto the machine. And we have a blowing device which raises up the whole piping strip to secure the piping strip while stitching and cutting without getting damaged. I will show you again. The large piping will be loaded. The large piping will be loaded, and we are raising up with our blowing device and keep it up. Okay, so that means we have here a maximum piping extension of 60 millimeter. We are worldwide the only one who can offer this large piping strips. And this is because we have a very high folder margin here, plus we are using the blowing device to make sure that this piping extension will not collapse. This piping device will be mounted, or this blowing device will be mounted, one on the flap clamps, left and right side, and one in the transport clamp, left and right side. So we are blowing on two, let's say, two stations to make sure that we are blowing in the whole area without risking the collapse of this extension. I have mentioned here USP because this is really a unique selling point, because we are the only one who are offering these high piping strip extensions. The next position in our price list is the shim device. The shim device is this plate from the bottom. You have it here, left and right side. And this shim device we use to transport difficult to feed materials. So what we need is, so we have the shim device on the bottom, we put material on top, and we take the transport clamp from the top and we transport the material. So we hold it like a sandwich, I would say. We hold it tight and secure it during the sewing and cutting process. So here you can see the shim device is mounted with the transport clamps and is holding the material underneath. The transport clamp hold it from the top, catch the material and stitch it. We are offering 3 different shim devices depending on the needle distance. From 4.8 to 16 millimeter is the first one, the second one from 18 to 24, and the third one 26 to 30 millimeter needle distance. Important to know here is, if we add the shim device on the machine, we cannot combine the shim device with a tape feeder from the bottom. So this is definitely not possible, because the opening of the tape feeder, I will explain this later, is covered by this shim device here. We are offering our new stacker system. This is a very flexible stacker which is adjustable to the bundle size, thickness, and also to the length of my garment, so short garments, long garments. And the advantage here is shorter pieces can be stacked easily, because we can move very close to the table of the machine, and we can stack short parts, long parts. We can stack big bundles or small bundles. This is a very strong, a very robust stacker, which has no problem at all to stack all parts which are required to stack. Another advantage here is we are stacking super precise the bundles. So we are exactly stacking one by one. An order of bundles after stacking process here is not required. So in combination with the stacker, you could have a roll-off device, which is a device with two rollers here. This is a programmable device in the speed and in the length of the seam, so everything freely programmable. And the good thing here is, compared to systems in the market, the hanger, the position where this part is mounted, is in the middle, and we are quite flexible to move these two rolls depending if a part is on one side a little bigger or thinner. So we are touching with both rolls the material to make sure that we have a nice and proper roll out of this garment. It's an optional equipment available in the price list. The next stacking system we are offering is a grip stacker. So this is a very simple stacking system. We have something like hands which catch my material, pull it over the table and release the material. Take the next one, pull it and release it. The advantage of this system is, in case in the production line the next operator need to take the bundle from the pocket welting machine, the operator on the pocket welting machine does not need to stop his or her activities, because here you can take the parts without interrupting the operator. On a flip stacker, this is a different situation. The operator has to stop, you take the bundle and you can continue stitching. A little disadvantage on this stacker is that we are gripping the part and releasing it, so the position of the garment is not 100% nicely stacked. So you have to accept that maybe you have to little organize the bundle afterwards. The third stacking system we have is a bundle clamp with a rectangle here. So this is the bundle clamp, these two clamps here. This is a pneumatic bundle clamp. I can open or close it. I put the whole bundle inside and I use the rectangle here to load my material. So I take one trouser, stitch the trouser, and I roll it, for example, roll it out, and within a waterfall principle the trouser will drop down or fell down. So you can choose the roll out device, this we have seen already, or you can go for the cheaper solution to blow out the material. For normal materials like normal trousers, casual trousers, the blowing out process is enough. If you have heavier material, then a roll out device is required. Now coming to the table extensions for the pocket welting machine. So we are offering table extension to enlarge the working area to make it more comfortable for the operator. So first we are offering a slanted table extension, which is this one, which is a small extension where you could maybe lay down your arm, where you could maybe get from hanging production a trouser which we feed it into the machine, or smaller pieces. So this is not really a table for as a pre-laying table. This is just to help guiding to have more comfort on the machine. A bigger table, this is a table extension small for trousers application. This is actually the table like on the bundle clamp with rectangle, without the bundle clamp. This is for hanging production or own trolley system production. And last but not least, we are offering a large table extension, which is for jacket processing. We are offering optionally also a suction device. A suction device means we are having here air, and we are using this air on the machine to position the material to keep it nice flat on the machine, to have no material displacement during positioning and taking over by the transport clamp. So this is on the speed pocket as an optional equipment. The machine table is already prepared for this, but the device has to be mounted separately. In case you go for a suction device, you would need a vacuum pump or vacuum blower on the machine, which activates your suction device, or in case you have a house own vacuum in the production, then you don't need the vacuum blower, you just connect it to the house own vacuum. We are offering 2 vacuum blower systems, one for the European and Asian market with 50 Hz, and for the American countries 60 Hz. Now coming to a special application. In the price list you will find an optional equipment which is a spring-loaded pocket bag support. What does this mean? So this is for applications in case of knitwear, for example, jersey, or I don't know, any sportive wear. They sometimes use this pocket bags cut it in one piece in a hard form. So this, to produce this one nicely without any trouble, to load it into the machine, to load it easy into the folder, we have this special device. I will show you the video. So we have the garment, we are loading the piping strip, and we have these extensions here, which is a spring-loaded pocket bag support. So with this pocket bag support, I can easily load a large pocket bag through the special folder here in one shot. So otherwise, without this, it would be quite difficult and would take much more time to load this large pocket bag. So depending on the transport clamp, of course, you have to go for 180 millimeter lengths or for 220 millimeter lengths. Please pay attention on this issue. Then we are offering a down holder with pocket bag clamp. The down holder is this dart stretcher or this finger which goes down to the material, and I can spread my material. Or you take the vacuum suction, the suction device, and then you do not need this down holder. Important always is the pocket bag clamp to hold and position the pocket bag below the trouser. So that means this is this pocket bag clamp which holds the pocket bag underneath the trouser. A second pocket bag clamp we are offering, which is for trousers or jacket applications, is just a different shape, different form. Here we are using these two parts on the pocket bag clamp where we can hold a longer pocket bag in a different position. This is adjustable, so I can move it in different positions depending on the pocket size. For lining applications, we are offering a lining triangle or for button loops. So that means I will show you again what application it would be. So that means a pocket with a button loop here. For this special application you would need this part, or for lining triangles. So you would load your button loop here in this corner, and this part will hold it during the stitching and cutting process. Now coming to the automatic flap scanning. So flap scanning is required in case I have a trouser with flaps or a jacket with flaps. So this is a flap, and the machine will recognize the beginning and the end of the flap fully automatic. So for this I need one of these light barriers to flap scan beginning and end. So one of these light barriers are standard on the machine. So if I have a flap and I want to scan it, this is standard on the machine. Now in the price list you will find one additional light barrier. What for I would need that? Depending on the application you want to stitch, you can use one light barrier on the machine, which would be mounted on the left side of the needles. That means I would scan my flap for jacket applications on the left side. Or I would take this one and move it, mount it on the right side of the machine. And this would mean that I would scan my trousers application with flaps, and here it would be mounted on the right side. So one is standard on the machine. Then I could have a second one. Means one would be mounted on the right side for maybe trousers application, or one would be mounted on the left side for jacket applications. So two will be mounted, one on the right, one on the left side of the needles. In Asia, very often in China, they have a special loading system of jackets where they use the rear positioning point always because they have a better view and the same angle to position their garment. And in this case, they would also need two light barriers because they need to scan the flap one time from the left side and one time from the right side. So these are the applications which would be possible to scan with the light barrier the flaps. Now coming to programmable laser marking lamps, that means we have 1, 2, 3 laser marking lights standard on the machine available, and they are programmable, means by program I can switch on or off all 3 or only one of these. And as an optional equipment you get one more laser lamp in the price list as a fourth one. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 is the maximum number of laser lights you can mount on the machine. As a standard equipment, we are offering a cutting device for needle threads. What is this? Actually, if this is my sewing head, behind the sewing head I have this device here. And this device is the device for needle thread cutting, holding and catching the material, the threads. So that means this device normally I need to change if I change needle distances from 10 to 12 to 14, 16 millimeter. We have now a new system where we use one needle thread cutting device for needle distances from 4.8 to 22. So that means same parts for these needle distances 4.8 to 22 millimeter. The adjustment of this is very simple. We have to open one screw and we just mount and we just move it from one needle distance to the other. Very simple. Open or close it according to the needle distance. So the adjustment and the setting of this one takes, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. This is the first part if you change needle distance from 10 to 12 to 14, etc. If you have needle distances available on the machine 22 to 30 millimeter, there is one more part as an optional available in our price list, which will cover the needle distances 22 to 30 millimeter. Now coming to the bobbin winders. We do have standard-wise a bobbin winder which is integrated on the sewing head and which has a winding assistance. What does it mean? We are winding the thread, and normally the beginning of the thread, this thread tail is always loose, and somehow it could maybe create a little bird nest, or I don't know, create some problems. With this winding assistance, you have a nice clean winding from the first stitches to the last of winding this bobbin. So this is a nice standard bobbin winder which is available on the machine, and as an option is available our external separate driven bobbin winder, which is mounted on the machine stand on the table, which you can use without running the machine. So the integrated bobbin winder runs only while the machine is stitching, and the separate driven one has a separate motor and can be used and load the bobbins at any time. The stand set of the machine is height adjustable, and the normal stand set without transport wheels has a height of 725 to 1050 millimeters, and you can have this transport wheels combined as an option, and then the set height will be 810 to 1135 millimeters. We are offering a pedal rest. So normally you would get only the plate with one pedal, and in case you lift up the machine very high, you have maybe people with shorter legs, smaller people, then it might be necessary to have a height adjustable pedal rest, and in this case we are offering this part here where we mount the plate with the pedal on this pedal rest, and it doesn't matter if you increase or decrease the height of the stand set, the pedal rest will be always on the same position for the operator. So now we are coming to a special application where we talk about endless zipper cut to length, which we attach simultaneously in the pocket. So I will get my sample again. That would be a pocket like this. So that means we are attaching the endless zipper simultaneously in the pocket. That means I have a zipper on a roll. I cut this zipper to a length like this, for example, but without zipper slider. This is very important. So, and the machine will attach the zipper on one side, nice, flat, super nice in the pocket, but the other side need to be attached later on a single needle lock stitch machine, for example. Okay, here I have a nice video to show. So the operator would load the material. Transport clamp would take over the piping strip, and then we would load the pre-cut endless zipper into a special device here, which will be held by a special flap clamp and will be stitched and attached on one side. So the advantage here is if I attach it on one side, I do have it super nice flat in the pocket. No puckering, no fullness, super nice. We'll see it here from a different view. We are loading the zipper into the machine, into this guide. We catch it with this flap clamp and stitch it. Attached on one side, the other side need to be attached afterwards. Okay, now coming to the safety functions. Safety functions on the machine are as following. We do have a pressure monitor here mounted on the machine, which is standard, of course. And this pressure monitor guarantees that in case the air pressure drops down below 4.5 bar, the machine will stop automatically to avoid any damage on the machine. As an optional equipment, we are offering an USP, uninterruptible power supply, which is good for countries where they have some power supply problems, where the power drops down very frequently per day. And here, to save and secure our control boxes and also the hardware of the machine, it's always better to connect the machines with a UPS. And in case you don't want to buy it from Dürkop Adler directly, you can locally source it, but please keep this dimension and measurements, because this is very important that our machine is running well. So now coming to quick clamp adjustment. If you change from a double weld pocket to a single weld pocket, we need to change the position of the folders, and we need to change the folders. So what does this mean? We have a so-called manual clamp adjustment on the speed pocket machine, and this is this one. So we are opening the cover, we are opening this screw here, we are pulling manually the clamp to the second position, means to the single weld position, left or right side, both is possible. And then we have to change the program, and we can switch from double weld to single weld. And of course, if I change from double weld to single weld, I also have to change the folders. I will show these folders later. So now we are creating our own sewing equipment. So I said, if the sewing equipment in the price list is not the right one you need, we can create our own sewing equipment. Important is we have to select K for feeding clamps, N for needle distance, F for folders. So that means these three parts we need to select to create our own equipment. The first thing is K for transport clamp. We are offering K35LR, means clamp, transport clamp K35. LR means we get always left and right side of the transport clamp. The transport clamp contains the whole thing. That means the transport clamps, the folding sheets, these are the folding sheets. We have to separately order the flap clamps, this we have seen before. And in these transport clamps we do have flap guides, which are standard of these flap clamps. We are offering two different feeding clamps. I have mentioned it already in the beginning. The feeding clamp K35LR 180 means we have the clamp, the transport clamp 35, this is just the number. LR means left and right side of the clamp, and 180 millimeter maximum sewing length with flap. We remember 180, and there is another one, 220 millimeter length with flap. If I order this clamp, it is recommended, depending on the application, to add the flap clamp 35 left 180 SA or flap clamp 35 right 180, and for the other the length of 220. So that means we have the K already collected for our self-created sewing equipment, right? Now we are coming to our needle distance, N. The needle distances, we are also offering a key code, N for needle distance, 7.5 pocket welting. The second position would be 5 for straight pockets, 6 for slanted pockets. And then we do have needle distances from 0.4, that means 4.8 millimeter, or 0.6, 0.8, and so on millimeter. So this you see here. And then behind these two figures, it could be that we have a slash WO. What does this mean? This means without sliding plate. I will explain this afterwards. So, and last but not least, we could add a version number in the future. So let's see what needle distances we do have. N755, 5 for straight pocket openings, 0.4 means 4.8 millimeter needle distance. N755, 0.6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 12, etc., 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 up to 30 millimeter needle distance. Then, as I mentioned, there could be needle distance with WO, means without sliding plates. Now I have to explain first what is a sliding plate. A sliding plate is this plate here. This plate is the same thing, which is a quite long plate, long and large plate, but we use the same plate with the same opening for always 2 needle distances. That means for 6 and 8 millimeter, we are using the same sliding plate. In case you would equip your machine with 6 millimeter needle distance on the machine, that means N75506, you could add a second second needle distance without guiding plate of 8 millimeter with the machine. So you would reduce the cost because the sliding plate is not in the second needle distance available, because you don't need it. One sliding plate would be more than enough for this. The same thing we could do with 10 and 12 millimeter. If a machine is equipped with 12 millimeter needle distance with sliding plate mounted on the machine, and the customer is asking for 10 millimeter as an optional needle distance, then you can offer them here the N75510 without sliding plate. So that means always this direction could be used with or without sliding plates. Okay, good. Changing these kind of changing general the machine from 10 to 12 millimeter or any needle distance takes approximately 30 minutes nowadays. In the past, on our former machines, it was maybe 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depends on the technical knowledge and trained level of your technicians. Okay, so that means K for clamp, N for needle distance, we have selected now. Now we have to go for F, folders. We have to select the folders according to the needle distance. So coming to the folders. The folder, we have again a key code, F for folder. And then we have D for double piping, SR for folder single piping right or folder single piping left side. So this is quite easy to understand. The rest is the same. That means the next digit, 10 for example, is a needle distance. 180 millimeter means maximum sewing length with flaps. And A means manual loading method. The 01 means a version number, and if there would be a Z, that would be for zippers, or BR for breast welt applications, which are on Speed Pocket here not available. So let me explain, or let's read the key code of the folders I have mentioned here. So we have a folder, double welt, 10 millimeter, 180 millimeter length, A for manual loading of parts, and 01 for the version number. Here we have folder, single welt, right, 10 millimeter, 220 millimeter maximum sewing length, and the loading method A. So now if we talk about folders, I would like to explain you that here for folders we have a so-called modular system, and you can order complete folders or only part of the folders. So a folder in general contains 3 components. So that means you could have a complete folder which has the folder top, a so-called insert, and a sole. So if you have these 3 components, you have a complete folder. A complete folder, this drawing is maybe a little easier to understand. A complete folder has this upper part of the folder. Then we have the blue lower part. This one, this is a so-called folder insert, and I could also get only the sole. I have 2 samples here. I would like to show you. So that means this is my complete folder. I do have the upper part of the folder with these guiding plates. I do have the lower part, which is the insert with the sole, or only the sole could be also available. So I get the complete folder as an order component. I can order only the folder insert, which is the lower part with the sole. If I order this, the technician in the production will just open 2 screws, take out the upper part of this folder and mount it here to the folder insert, and the complete folder is ready. Or the third alternative is you have 1 complete folder and you take out the sole only and you change only the sole from double welt to single welt, or from 10 to 12 millimeter. That would be also possible. So complete folder and folder inserts. So if I talk about double welt, single welt folder right, or single welt folder left, for which application I would use this? I have the double welt folder, where on both sides of the folder we have a symmetrical position of the folder. So double welt, we have 2 lips and 2 lips with the same size. A single welt folder means I have only a single lip, that means like this one here, and I could have it on the right side or on the left side. Depending on the application, I need it on left or right, and that means if I have folder single right side, this one, This is for jacket applications. And folder single left side on this side is for trousers application. So I will show you now my double folder. So I will show you here on left and right side we have it symmetrical. So here we talk about a double folder, double welt folder. And if I have a folder like this, you have on one side a larger area, on the other side a smaller area. Then that means I have a single folder left side, and the single folder left would be for trousers application, for example. Now coming to the folder inserts. So you selected already the folder, so that means clamp, K for clamp, N for needle distance, F for folders is selected, double welt, single welt, whatever. Or instead of a complete folder, because you have maybe already one complete folder on the machine, and the next ones you don't want to keep the full folder, you want to keep only the folder inserts to reduce the price. So in this case you go for folder inserts. I have explained this is only the lower part, this part here, and by opening, mounting two screws, I just mount from the existing complete folder this upper part of the folder here, and I can use this as a complete folder. So this folder insert is available in our price list for all needle distances, of course, and we are using a key code as following: I for insert. So insert double piping, insert single piping right, insert single piping left is a key code here. 10 mm for needle distance, 180 mm for the sewing length, A for manual loading device. The last numbers here, again, version number. So let's see and read what inserts we have. So we have an insert, double welt, 12 mm, 180 mm length with manual loading method, version number 1. Or insert single piping right, 12 mm, 220 mm maximum sewing length with manual loading method. Okay, if we talk about folder inserts, we have actually 3 parts of the folder insert. This is the folder stay, we have the sole, and we have material guiding plates. These guiding plates are mounted or can be changed by 2 single screws, because this guiding plate is material guiding and in the same time middle knife protection here in this area. And this middle knife protection, it can happen with thick or thin materials that this part will break. In the past you had to buy a complete new folder. Nowadays it's not necessary anymore. You can buy for a few euros, I would say, this new material guiding plate, and you can quickly change it and you can keep the rest of the folder or the folder insert as it is. Important to know is, if you order folder inserts of the smaller needle distances like 8, 10 or 12 mm, you will receive 3 material guiding plates with the machine. Why? Because of this small needle distance, we need 3 different material guiding plates. One is for double piping, that means for the same distance here for flaps left and right. Then I would have a second one where I have a larger space for a flap on the left side or a larger space on the right side. So that means this one will be one time symmetrically in the middle, and for the other one it will be straight on one side and a larger margin on the left side or on the right side. This is only because of the small needle distance. We have no space to use one piece, we have to use 3 different pieces for flaps left and right side. Okay, so then we go to the next step. After choosing the folder inserts, you will find in the price list also the set of parts for soles. So in case you have a complete folder and you want to have it as cheap as possible to change needle distance or to change from double welt to single welt, and you want to change only the sole on your folder. So to change the sole, you find in the price list these soles available. So these parts are available as following. Again, the key code, S for sole, and then double piping. SSR means sole single piping right, sole single piping left in 10 mm needle distance, 180 mm sewing length, A for manual loading method, and then the version number. So let's pick up here one of the soles. So this is a single sole double welt, 12 mm and 180 mm sewing length, manual loading. Or we take this one, the single as a sole single folder right side, 10 mm needle distance, 220 mm sewing length with the loading method A, manual loading. And now the price list will be over. I have added to this documentation a list of retrofitting parts for our speed pocket, because I always get the question, I delivered a machine and I forgot to add this or this or this optional part. Can I retrofit it, yes or no? I've prepared a list here with all the available equipment, and here you can see whether we can retrofit a part or not. For example, here the manual corner knife station we cannot retrofit, but clamp left and right we can retrofit, and it's a bit complex to do it, but you can do it. So it's just an information. Here you find everything necessary in case you forget something to add on the machine. Good. Now coming to the performance. Performance on the machine depends, of course, a little bit on the production. That means have they big bundle or small bundle sizes. But I would say if they have a normal bundle size, you can do approximately 2,200 to 2,600 pockets in 8 hours working time in case of pockets without flaps. Jacket pockets, we are talking about 1,750 to 2,000 pockets, because we have to add one more pocket bag and the flap. Here we do have performance for trousers with flaps, 1,500 to 1,800 pockets with flaps, and jackets 1,300 to 1,600 pockets, and lining pockets approximately 1,500 to 1,700 pockets. Okay, that was the theoretical part of my presentation, and I would like to go and show you the application and optional equipment on the machine. So, and now here we are at the machine. So this is our speed pocket machine, and I would like to stitch a sample now to show you how the general function is. I will switch on the vacuum. And now I will switch off the vacuum, otherwise you will not understand me very well. So, now I would like to explain you the special features on our speed pocket machine. I will start here in the front now, and I will explain you what you will find on the machine. So first of all, we do have 3 standard laser marking lamps on the machine, and the 4th one is an option. Then the second thing is we do have the folder here. The folder can be changed very simple and easy by this handle. I just open the handle, take out the folder, change it maybe to single weld, and put it back to the machine and get it in. Okay, this is how to change the folder. So then the machine here is equipped with a down holder. So this down holder I would need maybe to hold down the trouser to hold it in the right position and stretch out or stripe out my material here. This is here my pocket bag clamp, and this pocket bag clamp holds my pocket bag underneath my trouser. The loading process would be as following. I would have my pocket bag, and I would load it here underneath and position it exactly in the middle of my laser marking lines. Then I do have here my folding station. My folding station, I will swing this out now. Very simple, like this. And now I would like to show you in front of the sewing head what you will find there. The first thing you will find is this light barrier for flap scanning. So this flap scanning is mounted now on the right side of the machine, means this is mounted for trousers application. Then we also have here in front of the sewing head mounted the needle thread detector for right and left needle to make sure if there is thread breakage, then the machine will stop and inform the operator that the thread breakage has happened. Here we have the needle holders, and behind the needle holder we have the center knife. The center knife here is to cut the middle cut of the pocket. The center knife is driven here with a stepper motor and is freely programmable in the speed. That means depending on the thickness of the material, we can increase or decrease the speed. And what we can also do is we can preset 2 different strokes of the knife, and we can call them in the program smaller stroke or bigger stroke. Depends on the thickness, I can have a smaller or a bigger stroke. Advantage of this one would be that I have less wear and tear parts to change, means less wear and spare parts of the knife, the center knife. Now I'm coming back to the front area of the sewing head. In the front of the sewing head we do have 2 thread tensions per needle. That means we have an additional thread tension. That means I can switch on both thread tensions in the beginning and at the end of the seam to have a nice tight, secured seam beginning and end. And I switch off the second thread tension per needle within the seam, that means in the main seam, because there I want to have a looser thread tension to get less seam puckering. Here we are the only one who can offer this. So this is all about the sewing head here. I will close the folding station. And now I will show you something here. Behind the sewing head, I do have this needle thread cutting device. We learned already before that we have here a needle thread cutting device which is standard and which is usable for needle distances from 4.8 millimeter up to 22 millimeter. Just by opening the screw here, I can move this to the right direction and seam margin. Then I do have my transport clamps here. I will pull these transport clamps now forward to me. I have to switch off the machine for that. I will pull this to my position so I can explain a little bit better what you will find here. So here we have transport clamps, right and left side, and we have the flap clamps, right and left side. So these transport clamp in combination with flap clamps can be used for trousers application, jacket application, depends whatever we need here. So the special feature on this machine here now is that we have a flap clamp and an additional device here for endless zipper. I will show this as an application later on. So these transport clamps are mounted here on this transport carrier, and to change from double weld to single weld I have to move the transport clamps to the left or to the right side, depends if I have single weld left or right side. To change this, I will move this back now. To change this, to change from double weld to single weld, very simple. I will open this screw and then I will pull out or push in for double weld or single weld position. Very simple. So this would be the position of the transport clamp. Then I still have to change the folder, of course, and the program. So I will keep it now to this position. So what else we have on the machine? We do have here the roll-out device. Roll-out device to roll out the material. The special thing here is, you can see this, I can move it, it's flexible, the position can be flexibly changed, depends if I have a thicker area on the material on the left or right side, to make sure that these two rolls touch the material always, to roll it out safely. So then coming below the table I do have the corner knife station. I will pull it out here. The corner knife station has two corner knives, one for the pocket beginning and one for the pocket end. And on the speed pocket we have a manual or mechanical adjustable corner knife station, and this means we do have a scale here and a red arrow here, and I can move this the second knife to the pocket length of my required pocket. So that means this now is adjusted to 150 millimeter, and if I stitch 150 millimeter, both knives will cut simultaneously in one cut. If I would change now the seam length on my touch panel to 155, the first knife will cut. The transport clamps will transport the material to the second position, and then the second knife will cut. So it is possible, of course, to stitch also different lengths, but it will cut in 2 times if the mechanical setting is not changed. If I have a mechanical setting here, I program it in the background that the mechanical setting is done by, for example, 150 millimeter, and the machine knows, okay, with this one, both knives will cut together. The angle, that means the angle of the pocket, will be adjusted with these 2 screws here, mechanical too. I will now bring this back. Okay, good. Now I am coming back to another application here. And I will not switch on the vacuum, otherwise you will maybe not understand what I'm saying. So I will show you the application without vacuum. So what else I can show you, moment, just a second, what else I forgot to explain. The machine is equipped with the shim device. So this is the shim device. I am loading my material between the shim device and the transport clamps, so it will catch afterwards both pieces and hold it while we stitch and cut it. So especially for slippery material like silk, like rubber, like leather, like heavy materials, it might be that the normal transport from the top is not sufficient, and in this case we can offer the shim devices to secure a good, nice transport here. So now I will show you the application with long piping extension. I'm switching on the machine, just a second. It's loading now, and I have to confirm by pressing the pedal backwards. So, and now just to make sure that you can see it clearly and nicely. So if I stitch with a normal piping strip size, this would be this one. I'm loading my piping strip inside, and the machine would fold it nicely. So I would not have any problems here with the folding process. Now I will show you if I would have the extra long piping strip. So as I mentioned in the theoretical section of this presentation, some people, they fold it and iron it, pre-iron it, and afterwards they load it here because they cannot have this wide extension of the piping strip. Here we have the possibility, because we have a very high size of the folder, we can have up to 60 millimeter piping extension on our machine, which I will show you. And what we use is, we are using a blowing device which raises up my piping strip, and while stitching it will be safe and it will not drop down and collapse and get maybe into the stitching or the cutting process. I will stitch it. So I can show you here now. This is a white piping strip. Now we turn the pocket, we fold the lower part and we attach it to the pocket back, and we have enough space here to position the buttonhole afterwards. Okay, that would be one application. Another special application what we have here is we can attach a zipper with on one side. No? So we said, I have explained the endless zipper we have to cut to lengths. And this one I can now attach on one side of the zipper simultaneously into the pocket. I will do the same thing. I'm loading my pocket. So I'm loading my piping strip. I'm folding the piping strip, and now you have to see it from the top here what I'm doing. I am now inserting my endless zipper into this special guide for zippers. So I'm pulling it forward. Then this special flap clamp will catch the zipper. It's safely catched, and I will attach it on one side now. So I can show you here. This is attached on one side, and if I turn this now, so the pocket is ready. I only have to attach the other side of the zipper on a single needle lock stitch machine afterwards. So this would be another application which would be possible on this machine. And then last but not least, I can change the program to pocket with flap. I'm now adding my trouser. I am now loading the piping strip. And here on the flap, on the transport clamp, I have a cutout for the right position of my flap. And now the machine is automatically scanning the seam beginning and end. So I'm checking if the size is okay, the position is okay, and then we can stitch. So what we have done is we have attached the flap now exactly from the beginning to the end, and now I can turn this again, and pocket flap is attached. The size of the pocket flap depends on the size of the cutout and the position on my transport clamp. Okay, so this was a presentation of our Dürkop Adler 755S speed pocket machine. I hope you liked it. I hope we could show you something which could be interesting for you, and we are looking to see you at our next masterclass. Thank you very much and have a nice day.